Giannis Antetokounmpo is having another MVP season. One that is slightly better, statistically speaking, than last season's MVP performance. And everyone says on social media, on Twitter, so Twitter is part of social media, on their own talk shows or podcasts, that Giannis needs a 3-ball. Imagine what he would do if he had a 3-point shot. He could stretch the defense, and there'd be no way to guard him, and he'd just be unstoppable. And I was on the same train of thought, because I was like, that makes sense. Theoretically, he has a 3-point shot. They're forced to go up on him, and he can just blow right by them, dunk it. He could score 50 points, whatever. But then I shifted my train of thought, and I was like, you know what? I'm not sure if that's true anymore. And now I believe that he needs a different shot, which I'll eventually get to. But I want to show you why I left the 3-ball idea. So Giannis is currently shooting 32.4% from 3, which is a great increase from last year's 25.6%. And this year, that's 32.4% from 3 on 204 shots, so not a high volume, but a good amount. Yet, teams willingly let him shoot, and I believe that will continue in the playoffs. And now you're thinking, but that's why he needs a 3-ball, so that when they leave him open, he can, drain it, and that's an easy bucket. And again, I'll show you why I believe that's not the case. His 3-point percentage, currently at 32.4%, is better than Jamal Murray, Dario Saric, as I'm recording this, Jamal Murray, Dario Saric, Garrett Temple, Terrence Ferguson, Luka Doncic, Gary Harris, Andrew Wiggins, Bradley Beal, Jay Crowder, Brook Lopez, Austin Rivers, Julius Randle, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Jordan Poole. Now, there's a lot of shooters on that list, and I know some of those shooters shoot at a very low volume, and some of them shoot at a very high clip. But two of the players were within 10 3-point shot attempts of Giannis, and those two players were Jamal Murray and Andrew Wiggins. And now you're like, okay, where are you going now? And I'll tell you, both of those players, Jamal Murray and Andrew Wiggins, granted they're a bit smaller than Giannis, both have a hand in their face whenever they shoot. They are not left wide open like Giannis Antetokounmpo. He just does not have a hand in his face. And that probably will continue until he shoots maybe 35% from 3. And even then, I have my doubts. And I think that it really is that when he gets closer to 40%, if that ever happens, that he really will have a hand in his face most of the time. And now you're like, okay, you know what? That's fine. If anything, that's more of a reason for him to improve the 3, because like I said, easy bucket. He's wide open, he shoots it, he gets it down, easy bucket from there, and that's just an easy 3 points. But to me, that's not quite my point, because 32.5%, right? Yeah, no, 32.4%. He's gonna miss most of the time, and he's not a catch and shoot shooter. He's not a shooter that ends up heating up and gets on fire like a Klay Thompson or Chris Middleton, where they get on fire really, really quickly, and once they're on fire, it's hard to turn them off. He's in that type of player. He's clank, clank, miss, clank, 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 miss, make eventually. And so he's gonna miss those shots most of the time, and at that point, you're not utilizing him to the most efficient that he could be in the paint, where he's closer to the basket rather than from 3, where although he may make a couple every now and then, it's just not the same effect on the team or fans emotionally, or putting him in the best possible situation where he can score, which is in the paint closer to the hoop. And when he misses, the team misses out on points because they're trying to go for the 3-ball. So the shot that I believe that Giannis Antetokounmpo needs, as of right now, is not a 3, but a floater. If you look at all the games that Giannis plays, and I found this crazy too, because it just popped into my head, it's like, boom, floater. He does not have a floater. I was genuinely surprised. He may have an occasional post and like a little hook shot or a little float shot, but it's not quite a floater where he's running into the paint and then James Harden just floating, just a little floater. And I believe that a floater would allow Giannis to be even more dominant in the paint where he really should be rather than on the three-point line, like most people say. And I think it's just, if he adds a floater to his game, I think there's so much that can do, and it's a lot easier to improve on than, say, a three-point shot, and a lot quicker to implement than a three-point shot into his game. And it goes with his flow, rather than being disrupted by having to settle back for a three-point shot. And I want the conversation to be, imagine what he could do with the floater. Imagine how much that would put defenses in, or defenders in quite the position, because now you have to watch out for the Eurostep dunk. You have to watch him for dunking on your face or for doing a nice little finger roll. You had that one crazy shot where he switched his hands back and forth to do that crazy layup against the Pistons, I believe. And then you add that with a floater where, I mean, you either, because at that point he can fake the floater and then do the Eurostep anyways and then dunk it on you, or like you're getting ready for that dunk and he just has a little floater over you, and at that point it's going uncontested because you're worrying for all these other different things. He has that floater, it's going uncontested, and think about it. If that bounces back, that's a put back dunk where you can just jump over the defender. But I think that ultimately, the defense that teams play against him, which is the wall defense, where they just crowd the paint area and put their hands up, and eventually, he just can't do anything because there's just a lot of hands in his face, and he ends up turning the ball over, and that has worked in the past against the Celtics especially. I believe that the floater would do a great job against that, because now you have these defenders just putting their hands up on either side of the paint, preventing the Eurostep, and you have one guy who's following him, making sure that he goes left or right. You have that floater right there. Maybe you do a little stop, that guy goes a bit sliding. You do that floater, no one's jumping to block it at all. You do that Eurostep, you're going right into a defender. You're playing right into their hands. You do that floater, it is over. Because none of those teams are adjusting their wall defense because he's shooting threes. No one is going to do that. In the playoffs, everyone will be playing a wall defense against Giannis, even though he has improved his three-point shot to a 32.4%. And you already saw other players, Jamal Murray, Andrew Wiggins, Dario Saric, other three-point shooters around the league, Luka Doncic, have players putting a hand in their face, preventing them from shooting threes. Whereas Giannis, he's shooting better than them. He's shooting better than them, but he just does not have that hand in his face. So I don't think that improving his three is the most pressing issue for him right now. I think that it is breaking out of that wall defense that defenders are playing and teams are playing against him. Now, I want to make it especially clear. I'm not saying Giannis should not shoot threes or get better at it. I think it's great that he's improving his three-point shot and getting better at it, because eventually that will show and defenders will have to guard him. But I just don't think that that's happening now. And I think that now he needs a floater instead. I like him shooting threes. I like that he's improving it. It shows that he really cares and wants to get better and wants to be one of the best in the league. And he probably is arguably that right now. But I'm saying that shooting threes at a consistent rate, at a better field goal percentage, where it becomes a legitimate threat to other teams, that is a long-term solution for a Milwaukee Bucks team that's looking to win right now. And if anything, the floater would force the defense to get out of the wall defense and is more of a short-term solution to winning right now for the Bucks and for Giannis. So if you disagree with me, just right off the bat, just think about it for a bit. Just mull it over. Don't think too hard about it, but just let it kind of soak in. Watch the Bucks play. I think they play Saturday night, which is when I'm recording this. Just watch it. Notice that he doesn't do any floaters. You can watch his three-point shot, but watch the defense. Watch him in particular, and just think about it for a bit. And if you still disagree with me about him needing a floater and not so much of a 3-point shot, even though the 3-point shot is fine, if you still disagree with me, then just wait for the playoffs. And even then, if you disagree with me, then I don't know what to say. But I believe that Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, needs a floater immediately, right now. And I think that will boost his chances of winning the finals with the Bucks now.